Joining me now, Onur Aram, who is a political analyst, and Mesut Uyar, who is a military historian at Antalya Bilim University. Thank you both for joining me today. Onur, we've seen a rise in applications to be exempted from military service. A record 515,000 men have applied to pay this fee, which amounts to about $2,400 US. Why are we seeing this rise in exemption applications?
It is probably a collection of things. When the first, this procedure started was for Turkish diaspora living outside of Turkey. I am actually one of those former members who has, used this right to do his military service. I did it for, back then it was 28 days. And then after that, it was opened later on to Turkish citizens living in Turkey. Mostly it was for people that were not drafted, but it was elder in their years. So to kind of give it a quick fix to a problem, they did it, and they did it time after the Turkish military did it time after time along with the government. But right now, I think there's a collection of things going on. Number one, there was a need because there was a lot of apparently there was a lot of people that were over the age of 20 or much older who was needing and not being able to go to military for a number of different reasons. That was number one. Number two, there is a dynamic change that's taking place in the Turkish military. As opposed to a couple of decades ago, we now need fewer soldiers on the field, but with more sophisticated arms. Well, Turkey had been relying on foreign technologies to keep up its military stand. But in the last 10 years, as we're seeing the fruits of it right now, Turkey has been developing its own technology, not depending on in any of its allies or non-allies for this technology. So Turkey has been needing less and less foots on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Turkey has a long history of military participation, but do you see this as a changing society, or the military's changing role in society?
This is also something related with the global developments. As we know, universal conscription started with the French Revolution, and it started not because of military needs, but because of political needs. Mm-hmm. Revolutionary France needed citizen soldiers, not professional army. So we need to combine this issue. It looks as if conscription looks as if a military phenomena, but it has also social, political, economic connections. So when you change the system, you need to pay attention what the other countries are doing. For example, America, Britain, France, Germany. There's a general trend of professionalizing the armies. But at the same time, we are receiving mixed news from other countries like Sweden reintroducing the conscription again. It will start next year. So we need to pay attention not only the military dynamics, but also social, economic, and other dynamics.
So if Turkey's military moves more toward the professional military, doesn't that mean a leaner but stronger military?
So in case of a big war, what will you do? That means you need to create a reserve system. Currently, America, Britain have either army reserve or territorial army to compensate a need of sudden influx of numbers. Additionally, are we ready to get rid of some of the benefits that the conscript army providing? Because up to now, Turkish army has been a school of nation. That means giving basic education to poor educational background soldiers, generally peasant boys, providing some skills from driving to providing some new skills that can be useful for civilian life. Are we ready to get rid of these kind of things? And additionally, when you transform into a professional army, that means you will get rid of a large body of army recruitment centers all over the country. Mm-hmm. And when you need to reintroduce conscription, that means you need to rebuild this big system once again. I mean, there are pros and cons for this. There's a kind of a global context going on, but we are receiving also some mixed news from different countries.
Okay, Owner, I want to ask you, these 515,000 or so men who've applied for exemptions, if they are approved, will they be spending more time in school? Will they be going into careers that they wouldn't normally be able to start because they'd be performing military service?
Well, to say the least, they will be, there's going to be 500,000 more available, probably educated and probably skilled workers out there producing, producing income for the economy. Because once you're in the military, once you're doing your service, your only source that you're creating is one in the military. You're not, giving any economical direct value into the economy itself. So we're probably gaining 500,000 more people in the next, traditionally next 12 to 16 months, for them to be more in the economy, hopefully, giving back to economy or producing or, creating income totally.
And Masoud, do you think conscription is an outdated system, or do you think there's still a need for it?
If we come across World War II style, big armies fighting against each other, that means you need conscription. So if you are planning to get rid of conscription, that means somehow we need to create an army reserve system, a military reserve system, in case of a probability to increase the number of our army. Additionally, conscript armies provides lots of benefits. For example, thanks to conscription, civilian doctors serve period of time in the military. That means military generally do not need to hire more doctors, or thanks to conscript, we have necessary tailors, barbers, drivers, plumbers. When you get rid of conscription, that means you need to hire more people to perform mundane, not military-related jobs. So creating a professional army does not mean that you don't need these mundane jobs to keep the army self-sufficient. At the same time, when you enter into the job market, because professional army means you will compete with private companies and other state institutions to get the best out of the available people from the pool. That means you need to offer better salaries, you need to offer extra advantages like America or Britain, so as to convince people that selecting military job would be beneficial for them.
All right, thank you so much, Masoud Uyar and Owner Aram. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thanks.